So honestly, not a lot happened in this week episode of Twin Stars. So really, this review it should not be that long because this episode mainly focused around Arima, like kind of forcing Benya and Rukio to like get closer to each other. And we see now that when the episode first started, we have Simon. He was like walking around trying to find Arima. And obviously he couldn't do that. And we see now how one of the other like 12 guardians told him how Arima had went to the town where Benio and Rukuro actually live. And for some reason, like, we did not see this guardian face, but we saw her drinking tea, and standing by her was like some kind of familiar, because you could tell that right there was familiar because of the mask it was like wearing like on his face. Now that right there is definitely like some kind of talisman. But I do wonder why did that guardian, have to use that on that one? Because to me, like that right there, I was definitely curious about, because this guardian seems very mysterious. She is definitely an older kind of woman, so I do wonder what kind of role will she play in the story. But going beyond that, we see now how Arima, when he came to visit Benio and Rukuro, we see how this guy was like dressed as if he was like going on some kind of vacation. And we see now that the reason why he came to get them is because like they were like going on some kind of trial. And so pretty much now he was taking them to the destination. And we see now how Ruguro, he was like kind of wondering what kind of trial is this, because he was expecting like a lot of old fashioned stuff, and this right here definitely wasn't what he had in mind. And so we see now that the place he took him to, it was like a dream house. This villa or villa, this place was like decked out because we learned how this right here was like completely remodeled, like not for him, but it was actually remodeled so that Rukuro and Benio could live here together. And to me, like, this right here seems like really over the top, but at the same time now, obviously it's happening. And so pretty much, like I said in the beginning, Arima is like forcing them to get close. And so pretty much we have Benio's grandmother. She was so livid and furious to the point where we have Jisama wrapping her up with a rope and actually lying for her. But at the same time, she was just so mad. We could not really understand, what she was saying. But luckily, that right there was sub for us. And to me, I did find that kind of funny. And so then we had Benio Familiar appearing, and we see now how Arima had like took it away. And so pretty much now we see how our characters, they definitely won't be sharing that like really romantic room anytime soon, because now both of them have like their own rooms that they could go into. And so pretty much Benio wasn't really feeling this house till she learned how there was like this gym where she could go to work out, because that right there really caught her attention. At the same time, it did make her excited. And so we see now that eventually, where both of them were like in their own rooms, we had Benio who was like completely calm, but we see now how at one point she was like trying to like move her bed because it was not in a spot where she wanted it to be. But when she pushed it, she actually couldn't move it. And then we have Rukuro who was like freaking out because now not only is he living with a girl again, because obviously they were living together in that dorm, but this time it's like to the two of them. So that right there was like really getting to him and really like freaking him out. And so now we see that like Arima's real plan, it was like forcing them to go through this little test or whatever, so that way they will like get closer together. And so we see now how their rooms, they actually changed how we have the wall that was like between them coming down, and we see now how the floor, it was like rising, and that right there, kind of like pushing them back, like to the end to where their doors were, because now that right there was like a wall that they had to use. So pretty much what they had to do was they had to like work together to reach a screwdriver and use that to go in these air vents. And once they were in there, they would have to reach this little like button, like as he was saying, because if they press that right there will like turn the rooms back to normal. But we see now how when they cleared it, that right there obviously changed. But now going back to the trial, we see how at first they actually were working together pretty nicely. Like they weren't arguing, and we see now how when Benio had like made a jump at one point, she actually wasn't like wearing shorts under her skirt. So Rukuro got a view of obviously her underwear, and that right there made both of them feel really embarrassed. And we see now how Benio was like getting like kind of mad, but at the same time she was like definitely showing a new side of her, because I believe this right here was like our first time seeing Benio blush and like all these episodes that have been out so far. But we see now how when they were like working together, and when Benio had like pulled them up, he actually kind of like knocked her down, and we see how their faces were like so close to one another as if they were like going to kiss. But obviously that right there didn't work, and we see now how they were like working together, because then where we have Rukuro making the jump onto the table, he was like going to act like a springboard and allow Benio to like jump over him. But we see now that when she did that, she actually kneed him in the face, and that right there had like made them both fall back to their like starting point. And then after that we see what's her name? G-Sama's granddaughter. Holy crap, what's the name? Oh my god, come on. Crap, what was it? What was her name? Crap. Come on, man. Like, she was just a main character last week and already I forgot her name. There we go. Mayura. There we go. Mayura. She actually came to see Benio or Rukuro, whoever, but obviously she had learned what happened, and now she was like furious. And we even see her like shaking her grandfather, like this feeble old man. She was just like shaking it. She was shaking the life out of him. And so we see how that right there didn't last too long, because we have Ryugo telling them how a very strong Kagure had appeared, and so now they all had to leave and go deal with that. And so now going back to their test, we see how this time they were like able to make it up to the second bed, who was Benio's bed. And we see now that what they had to do was, Benio had to like get on Rukuro's shoulders, so that way, they could reach the air vent. And we see now how when that happened, and if finally got open, Benio went first and Rukuro was behind her, but then they got a call because they needed backup, because the Kagure that our trio was like fighting, it was like pretty strong. And that right there, I do say that I don't like how heavily dependent those three are now depending on Benio and Rukuro, because if they call them every time a strong Kagure appears, then there is no way they can grow strong and become strong enough to to take one out, because they are always calling on them when like things get rough. And so regardless now, they want to quickly finish this trial so that way they could like go save their friends. And we see that the end of it, it was like some kind of riddle, like something like what was bigger than a whale but smaller than a killifish, something like that. And we see now how both of them had like figured it out, and when it worked, there was like some vent under them that had opened and allowed them to come out. And we see now how they could use their powers once again, because according to Arima, he had put up a barrier so that way their powers wouldn't work. But at the same time, I feel like that right there was a lie, like that right there could have been a trick, so that way they would not use their powers, to like quickly end this. And so we see now that when Rukuro and Benio, had arrived, this Kagure or Kagure, it took the form of like some kind of like mantis. And we see now how it actually didn't die at like one punch at first, from Rukuro. And we see now how like even Benio, she actually could finish it off with her swords, because we see now that when she stabbed it, it was still moving, quite a bit. So at the same time, this Kagure, it was stronger. It was at least tougher than I kind of give it credit for at first. but at the same time, it definitely like wasn't one of those giant ones that we have seen so far. So, in my personal opinion, I do believe that these three could have possibly taken it out, some way, somehow. But obviously it was left up to Benio and Rukuro, and we see now how Rukuro took it out with like one of his punches, and so now we see that when it was done, Benio had lost a hair clip of hers, and we see her now looking for it because she thought that that it might have fell out back when the Kagure was like swinging her around. And so we have Rukuro telling her, why not buy another one? But at the same time, she couldn't do that because that right there was the special one, because it actually belonged to her brother. And so we have Rukuro pulling her along now, and we see now that when he went back up in the event where they first were, we see now how it fell out up there. And so now we have them talking a bit, and we see now how Benio was like just so thankful to him. And we see, after that, she had to go take a shower, and we see her now and we have her now thinking about Rukuro and them taking a shower together. And to me, that right there was like kind of like a line that kind of been crossed, because these kids, they are still kind of young. They're like what, like 12, 13, 14, one of them. And already she's like having those kind of thoughts at that kind of age. But regardless, now we see how throughout the episode, it was nice how they were like kind of like talking like friends, kind of like like almost a couple, but not quite. And then we get the flashback of Benio and her brother, and we see now how Benio, she definitely wasn't as good as she is now. She definitely had to like struggle quite a bit, and we still don't see her brother face, but at the same time we do see his hair, and that right there definitely reminds me of the boy from Rukuro flashback, and of course it reminds me of the boy that we saw in the assignment episode as well. So I'm thinking that that Benio's brother is definitely, or at least either Benio's brother is alive and he is our main villain, or or it's possible how these two will be connected, like through her brother, because right now my theory is Benio's brother is Rukuro's friend who supposedly died during that event that made Rukuro stop being an exorcist 2 years ago. But now he has come back, and obviously now he is our main villain in a sense. But pretty much after all that sweetness that we got between them in the episode, Benio kind of like brought out her nasty side and was like calling him useless. And so right now, she is definitely acting like an tsundere, and to me, I don't like that, because like why flip flop like that? To me, it makes no sense. But we see now that in a preview of next week's episode, apparently one of the guys from the trio, with like Rukuro, with Ryogo, like the one who has his eyes covered, apparently he might become brainwashed or mind controlled, because apparently like we see him giving some guy a shoulder rub, and obviously this guy definitely does not seem friendly. He seems quite fishy in my opinion. And then we also have some little boy becoming a Kagure, so that right there should be interesting. But overall, this episode, like I said, it was okay. Like nothing too special really happened, and so for that, it's like like maybe a 6 and like in that kind of range. But of course, let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really helps me out. And as always, you guys take it easy. I will see you all next time.